What's going on, everyone? TM24 here, and we are back with some more Marvel Snap content. Now, I know we took a couple days off, but I've returned, and I've got a new deck for y'all, and it's a super easy Infinault Control deck here, and I'm going to take you through a couple of games, talk about the cards, card choices, how to play the deck, and how you're going to get your wins. Now, if you're a new viewer, thank you for clicking on the video. I hope you find it entertaining and educational, as we're trying to teach you how to play this deck, and if you're a returning viewer, I appreciate the support. My llama here, he appreciates the support, but let's start talking about this deck. So, as I said, Infinault Control. So obviously the Infinault is going to be a huge piece of this deck. He's 20 power on his own. That can get pretty insane. But where it really pops off is when you combine him with She-Hulk for that turn 6, maybe turn 7 play, depending on how the game plays out. So let's talk about these cards. Sunspot and Nebula are going to be your 1-drops. You'd love to have them out early and let them start growing and accumulating power that'll allow you to skip that turn 5 or that turn 6 so that you can play your Infinault on 6. We've also got Psylocke, Zabu, and Armor as our 2-drops. Armor, of course, he's going to be protection there. Zabu, I really like this inclusion because we have a couple of 4-drops, and if you can get Zabu down early, it will allow you to play either a Jessica or a Crossbones onto that lane that you're winning on turn 3, which can be absolutely huge. Now, Psylocke is only played typically on turn 4, and that's if you don't have Magik or something like that, because you want to play Psylocke on 4 so that on turn 5 you actually have 6 energy, and by skipping that full turn, then you can play both Infinault and She-Hulk in the same turn. Now, our 3-drops, we've got Green Goblin and Cosmo. So Green Goblin I love to have because playing him on top of your Sunspot or your Nebula lane, it helps you kind of secure that lane early. You can see in this game here, we played that Green Goblin on top of our Sunspot, and then we were actually able to play Magik as well, and we've got a really nice lane here already, allowing us to potentially skip our turn 6 play. But that's why we've got Green Goblin. Cosmo, of course, is to hopefully negate some of your opponent's bigger plays if possible. Maybe block some of those Galactus if you can see them coming. But, just another solid control piece. Now, we talked about Jessica and Crossbones a little bit. Jessica Jones, great on 4 to just get her down, skip that turn 5. She's going to power up. And you're going to get, hopefully, that power on your Sunspot. And you're going to be winning that lane with Sunspot, Jessica Jones, something like that. Crossbones, as we said, if we can get our Sunspot, our Nebula down early, even our Zabu, Crossbones is 8 power for 4, and that feels great. So being able to get him down helps your game a lot. Now, Magik we've got for 5. And Magik is another way that is going to allow us to get both She-Hulk and Infinite out on, in this case, it would be 7. So you'd play Magik on 5, you skip your turn 6 play, and then you've got She-Hulk and Infinault for your turn 7, as long as your hand is set up. And then we're talking about our 6-drops. We know about She-Hulk, we know about Infinault, we've been talking about it, it's built around it. So that is the game plan here. Now, as you can see here in this game, we were able to get Sunspot down early. We have Cosmo as well. I'm contemplating, do I even play Cosmo? Is it worth it? Do I hold him? It's turn 3, so he slots in perfectly. But because he's more of a defensive tool, I was kind of holding him back. I was like, maybe we don't play him quite yet. Maybe we just let it go. But ultimately, I'm like, I don't know. Cosmo, you can play, you can't play. In Wakanda, it didn't make a whole ton of sense to play him simply because, Wakanda is hypothetically protecting everything there. So we did play Cosmo into this middle lane. Maybe it would have been better in Wakanda because of the Swordmaster, but ultimately didn't really matter there. I missed it. So Cosmo came down into our middle lane. Now we pick up an Armor and a Jessica Jones, but here, as you can see, we're up in a lane. That's going to allow us to put Crossbones down early. So playing him for 8 on 4, still it feels pretty good. So that's what we did. We went ahead and got him down, and now we're thinking, do we go ahead? Do we play Jessica Jones, knowing that next turn would just be She-Hulk? In this instance, we're like, no, we're going to skip. We're up 11 in Lemuria. Sunspot's going to grow by 5. That puts us at 7. Luckily, they played into Murder World, pulled an Odin, which is going to proc that Blade and that Ghost Rider again. So he's going to have Murder World pretty much locked down. Not a whole lot we can do, especially with the Infinault coming down. Now, coming into this turn 6, we do have Infinault. Unfortunately, because we didn't play Psylocke or Magik, it's either Infinault or She-Hulk or She-Hulk ++. But in this case, we just go Infinault. They play the Hulk, and we end up getting a huge win here. As you can see, Infinault on 6 is still a really, really strong play. So that's kind of, you know, the natural gameplay, the natural line that you're looking at here. Crimson Cosmos is actually pretty good for us because if you can get both She-Hulk and Infinault into that lane, you know, obviously She-Hulk for free, then you're feeling good. Limbo is also really, really good for us. That means we don't have to play our Magik. So in this case, you know, we've got Nebula, but we want to use our full energy, so we decide armor is probably the way to go. I see a Mind Stone come out. I'm thinking maybe he's got some way to destroy it. If I can kind of lock that Limbo lane down early, then it's going to give us a really good chance to, you know, to take that lane. And that's the goal, because on your last turn, you're looking to flip one other lane. So you kind of need to have one secured. So we've got our armor down, and that's what we're thinking. That's why we're quickly slamming that green Goblin. We want to take them out of Limbo as quickly as possible to give us a really, really nice lane before, you know, before 5, before 6. And they do play Storm, which is actually fine with us because that means we're going to fill that lane. Granted, it takes away our, you know, our turn 7, but we are already up in flooding. We draw Crossbones. I contemplated between Nebula and Crossbones, ultimately going with Crossbones. You know, getting that 8 power down is just huge. That puts us at 11. Kazar comes down. He's starting to buff some things. I'm a little bit worried, but he's going to have a hard time reaching us in that flooded lane. So our next play is, you know, turn 5. We've got to go Magik. We're going to go. We get her down, and we're looking to set up a big turn, you know, a big turn 7 at this point. We've got Infinault in our hand. We don't have She-Hulk yet, but still, Infinault for 20 power is huge. So he's got a chance to take that lane on his own. We're only 1 away right now. Yes, we're down. Yes, they locked us out of Titan, which hurts a little bit, but we've still got a shot. You can see here, we're checking our deck to see how many cards we have left. We've got a 1 in 3 shot of pulling that She-Hulk that we need. So we're just going to go ahead and pass because we know next turn we have 7. We could go Infinault and you know, Psylocke, yeah, it's only 21 power, not as strong as the Infinault She-Hulk, but as of right now, you know, we don't have She-Hulk, so that's our kind of backup play here. It seems better than our other options at this point in time. So we go ahead, we're skipping our turn. We would have loved to have Nebula or Sunspot out there to, you know, kind of hope that some more power was going to be coming through. Fortunately, we didn't, but huge pickup in the form of She-Hulk that allows us to go Infinault, She-Hulk, and we even toss Nebula in there for 1 extra power. They come through with the Captain America, but we get a huge dub, and this is like the perfect example game for this type of game. Get Magik down in 5, skip 6, and you're going to win that game. So again, a huge game right there. In this hand, it's pretty much perfect, right? We're starting off with Sunspot early. That's huge. We're going to get him down. Nothing's revealing at, you know, in this first turn, but that doesn't really affect us because Sunspot's not going to grow until turn 2 anyway. Now, Project Pegasus comes out, and we've got a decision to make. We can either go Jessica and Psylocke, or we could go just Jessica. Since we picked up Infinault, that's our goal, right? We're just going to get Jessica Jones down because we want to save Psylocke for turn 4. By playing her on 4, we're guaranteeing 6 energy on 5, which means that She-Hulk will be free on 6. And that's how you play this deck in a 6-turn game, right? You want to get your Psylocke down on 4 so that you can skip 5 fairly safely. So we go with just Jessica, and we're waiting to see what they've got going on. They've got a pretty cool Squirrel Girl there, not going to lie. And then we're seeing Cyclops, we're seeing Thing. So obviously, I mean, we all know what this deck is. No point in, you know, rehashing what they're playing. Everyone's playing it. So we go ahead. We get, you know, we get our Jessica down. She's going to grow. Sunspot's going to grow. We're feeling pretty good about where we are right now. They skipped this turn, which is actually great for us. We're up huge in Lemuria, and we even picked up armor. So we're going to toss armor down to protect that lane. Now, I contemplated filling it with Psylocke, but we wanted to leave it open just in case we need to throw She-Hulk there on the last turn. So they play Wasp and their own She-Hulk. very, very solid play, but our armor comes through, our Psylocke comes through, and, we're going into turn 5. We know what we're doing here. We've got 6 energy. We are skipping. Sunspot is going to grow by 6, and we feel really, really good about where we are at so far. We did play armor on top of Jessica Jones. She had already grown, so it didn't matter. But, you could see that Wasp coming through, reducing her power a little bit. It got me a little bit worried here. But we feel like we're still in a really good spot. So we're skipping. Sunspot's going to go up by 6. We'll be at 21 and then able to drop 29 on our last turn. So that's the game plan. We're just waiting on them to figure out what they want to do. They come through with a Shocker and an Abomination, and I'm a little bit scared. That puts them up at 11. We're at 21, so we're only 10 apart. I'm a little bit worried here, but we know that adding She-Hulk to that lane will probably give it to us. So that's the plan, right? We're going to put She-Hulk down, and then we decide to go ahead and drop our Infinault into deep space. We don't think that they'll play anything there simply because they have such a huge lead, but Infinault can come right over the top and take that. I'm just waiting on them. I think they know that we have a powerful play coming through, and they end up deciding to get out of there and give us that dub. Now, this is the last one that we're going to go through here. And you can see we hit a perfect draw as well. We get our Sunspot, we get Sunspot down, and we've even got armor ready to back it up and Green Goblin for turn 3 in that same lane. And that's exactly what we're looking to do. We want to get that Sunspot down. We want to try and secure that lane as quickly as possible. They've got their own Sunspot, so who knows? Maybe they've got something similar. But then we see a Misty Knight, and we know what they're playing because that's what everyone's playing. But hey, it's all right. We get our armor down. And we've got our Green Goblin ready to go. We even picked up our She-Hulk and Infinault. So all we're hoping now for is a Psylocke or a Magik so that we can go into that turn 6, turn 7 play, dropping 29 power. But we get our Green Goblin down. Turn 4 comes around, and we hit Crossbones, but we don't hit anything else. We needed Psylocke there if we wanted to have a really, really strong turn 6 play. But Crossbones is huge on his own. He is 8 power that we can just go ahead and toss into the danger room. Knowing that we're going to skip 5 because we have Infinault is also huge. They play the Thing, which actually really, really nice play here, and Wasp. They start reducing our power. And, our Crossbones comes back. We're still up, but obviously we are a bit weaker there now. Again, another decision to make. Do we skip? Do we play something? We decide to skip so that we can play Infinault on turn 6. They play She-Hulk. Very, very solid play there. Our Sunspot grows a little bit. We are only up 7. So we're a little bit worried that they are going to go after the danger room. But we know we've got Infinault ready to drop, right? We've got 20 power that we can put somewhere. It's going to be really hard for him to, prevent us from taking one of his lanes. So realistically, he should play on the danger room. I'm kind of thinking that that's what he's doing. If he's got Hulk or something like that, he's going to win that lane. So my play is, do I maybe just go a She-Hulk and a Psylocke into deep space and just try and take deep space by, as few power as possible. Let Sunspot get, additional 3. Additional 3 doesn't really help us. So as we're thinking through this, we're like, our only realistic play is to go ahead and drop the Infinault down. And that's what we do. We drop him right into the She-Hulk lane. And when I see them play on DC with that Hulk, I knew we had it. We take that game, and we get another big dub. Maybe a misplay by my opponent, but hey, we will take it. So yeah, just a couple final words about this deck. It's super, super simple to play. Obviously, we know what we're trying to do. We're trying to play both Infinault and She-Hulk on 6 or 7, but you don't necessarily need both to win the game. Sometimes 20 power is just enough. That Sunspot growing is strong enough to almost solo a lane on his own. Yeah, armor for protection, Green Goblin a little bit of help, maybe a Crossbones will definitely put you in a good spot to win it. And then just use your Infinault on 6. But super, super simple deck to play. Most of these cards are really, really accessible, so a lot of people should be able to play it as well. And if you've got the cards, hey, give it a shot. It's pretty fun. You can definitely get some wins. And, this is a deck that was originally played like way back when the game first started. These Infinault Control decks. We kept pretty much the same base, but Obviously, we got to toss She-Hulk in there and then some ways to get both out. So this is what we came up with. If you've got the cards, give it a shot. And if you've hung around till now, I appreciate you watching the video. Go ahead and hit that subscribe or like button if you haven't already. But until next time, have some fun.